I had finished a book by a New York Times reporter of Muhammad Ali, and as a teacher of 32 years, who used biographies, and I taught inner city, so I liked the biographies of those that overcame the same hardships, like Bill Cosby, who shined shoes for 10 cents a day, and other prominent blacks. Surprisingly, Martin Luther King grew up in a middle class pastoral family. But Muhammad Ali, the autobiography, to this day is one of the best I ever read for this reason. He not only told his story, but the writer then interviewed anyone else connected with that story. So, in the classic story of somebody stealing his bike in Louisville when he's about 10 years old, and he goes into the police station and brags how he's going to beat the ass of whoever stole his bike, and the sergeant that sees this skinny kid with the big mouth says, then you better learn how to handle yourself. And that turned out to be his boxing coach. And so now, in this incredible autobiography, you are seeing the big mouth black guy, Cassius Clay, coming into the police station through his eyes. You are seeing some of the great fights through the eyes of a referee or a spectator. It's one of the best ideas I've ever seen. His wife, Lonnie, who is a saint, is his fourth wife, but the meaningful one. Brenda was his first wife, and she loved, they married at 18. He wasn't real big, but he'd won the Olympic championship and so on. She didn't like when he turned Muslim, became Muhammad Ali, and couldn't wear lipstick and stuff, so she backed out because of religion. Then he had two gold diggers. Lonnie met him on the streets of Chicago at 44. He was shaking. She was incredulous of how sad his physical shape was. And she married him. And here's what's astounding. She had met him when she was 6 years old because he'd buy ice cream for the kids. And he says to a group of kids, who's that girl on the other side of the street? Oh, that's Lonnie. Bring her over. That's how she met him. At 11, she knew she would marry him. Now, all of this is in a book, except in my endless voyages where I could throw a dart at a map and go there. I hear of an organic gardens in Michigan called Possums. So now I'm in Possums with a disabled teacher friend with diabetes who used to love the trips. His wife said before he died, he said they were the highlight of his life. My trips, in many cases, I don't know where I'm going to be that night. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll be connected with the soap. So at Possums, we're having a wonderful time. He makes guitars. I love folk music. And then he breaks this to me. You know that Muhammad Ali lives 7 miles away in Barron Springs, Michigan. No, I didn't know that. I remembered the book. It was somewhere in Michigan. I didn't know I was that close. So I tell all of them about this book. And I want to go meet him. And I figure I'll take a case of soap. So now we're on our way there. And I have stopped in a health food store. Seventh-day Adventists have their main college in Barron Springs, a town of about 8,000. And this woman tells me when I'm saying I'm bringing soap to Muhammad Ali, oh yeah, he lives just down the road a little, that he came in there and her grandson, a daughter, asked if he'd speak at her Saturday class, Seventh-day Adventist, and he did. He became a saint just from me talking to people before I met him. At a lunch counter, we were having lunch. A guy says, he came in here, picked up my grandson, held him up and said, who's the greatest? That used to be one of his lines. We're getting closer, and a guy sitting on a porch, oh, he loves Muhammad, runs by here in the mornings. So we finally get to his place. It's a gated former boxing camp. Not even very richy real looking. About the biggest building is a farmhouse, but there's a gate. And I go up and ring the bell, and there's nothing. I can see houses, real sort of shacks and sheds in a big house. Nobody there. So what would a normal person do? Leave. But I'm not normal. What I ended up doing is figuring there has to be a code to the gate. You punch something right. And I'm punching endlessly. My friend Ben Shelton is in the car saying, "Let's get out of here, Ralph," when I decide on pushing Ali, and the gate swings open. Now, my heart is pounding, but I'm figuring, what's the worst that can happen? Trespassing with a box of soap for Muhammad Ali. I won't get in trouble for that. So we drive in, and as I look in the rearview mirror, this is about 5 acres. The gate has closed. So now I'm trapped on one of the most powerful boxers' land without a permit. So as I drive down to the house, a huge Doberman comes to the door. I got to sort of back the Doberman off. I get out, ring the doorbell. Nothing. Well, okay, I could leave the box there, or I'll take it back to Possums and they can bring it. He helps children. He should love that I taught inner city, no problem. And now as we circle back to the gate, our hearts freeze. It's one of those moments you remember a lifetime. The gate is closed, and I can't see any way to open it. And there is one fact of life: 2 men cannot lift a Chrysler van over a fence and gate. So as we approach the gate, my heart pounding, it automatically opened. You could probably hear the sigh of relief in Wisconsin. So we drive back to Possums, a wonderful organic farm and wonderful people, and I explain this to them, and I give her the box. I pointed out my father and Mohammed both had Parkinson's. They both love people. It shouldn't be hard to just donate the box. I continue in my life forget that other people aren't like me. So 6 months later, by sheer chance, my wife Gisela and I are in the car. We're on our way somewhere, but we're going through Barren Springs. I stop at Possums. We have lunch there. And I ask the crucial question, did you leave the box? And she hadn't. It's sitting there. She blushes. So I'll take the box to Mohammed. So now I know where he is. I get out. There's the gate. It's closed. I can see people down there. There is a mic. Is anyone there? There. Hello, can you open the gate? Gate. So I just push ALI. The gate opens. Now there are people because there are cars. I drive down there, ring the doorbell, and Lonnie answers the door, and her first question pierces me. How did you get in? And I said, I pushed ALI. Oh, we're going to have to change that. But before she can call the police, I say, I read Thomas Schauer, I'm not sure the name, Muhammad Ali book, and I came away impressed with the sacrifice that you made, which I think was greater than Muhammad's, because nobody knows that you gave up a career at Motorola. You had your master's degree, and you took care of Muhammad Ali on his way down. That stunned her. And she said, come on in. So now Gisela and I mean, this is another one you'd remember a lifetime, are in the great Muhammad Ali's house. This is 91. The great master is lying sort of half on his back and half in a chair, scooping up ice cream. Their baby, 2 years old, is on a cot behind me. And what is on TV stuns me. My wife is from Berlin. The Berlin Wall had fallen a year before, and he's watching the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. So Gisela sits down with him, and I go in the kitchen with Lonnie, because I really meant this. In the book it mentioned that while a shot in the arm, this is the Muhammad with Parkinson's, is meeting people, too many people bother them and so on. So I figure I'll do something different. I'll bother her. So I'm in the kitchen talking to her. Her mother loved the bouillon. They had just gotten the soap 2 weeks before for their son to go to camp. He loved the soap for this beautiful reason. Muhammad is on the label. Can Procter's and Gamble's say that? So we're eating, I'm talking to Lonnie, which is probably the only time you had a visitor that ignores him and stays in the kitchen with his wife. So he walks in, and he is huge. I have a picture that we can see later. It's on the back there. I look like a pygmy. I come up to his armpit. He walks into the kitchen, and with a half smile and half sneer, he says, "What's going on here?" And he puts up his dukes like he's going to box me. I don't know how God makes me do this stuff. I am 5'7", skinny with a pot. I get up, put up my dukes, and say, Don't mess with me, Muhammad. I had 3 months of boxing in college. He laughed so hard, he almost fell over. And then he showed us magic tricks. And anyone reading anything about him, it was in the book about magic tricks. At that great fight in Africa, I forget, was it?
In the jungle.
Yeah, with who was that with?
With Foreman, George Foreman.
With George Foreman. And the natives chanting, it was raining after the fight. Ali, Ali, Ali. The reporter forgot his notes and had to go back to the cabin where Muhammad Ali was now on one of the greatest nights of his life. He is on the porch showing magic tricks to native children. That's my kind of guy. So he says, have you seen this one? And he's got a short sleeve, and it's a silken scarf that he did. It was really impressive. I'm watching the arms and the trick stuff and that, but he did pull out a silk scarf about 1.5 feet square. And you want to see it disappear? He mushes his hand, it disappears. And in the book it said, he will always tell you how he did it. I want to know how he did it? He had a fake thumb. And it's hidden inside the thumb. Anyone hearing that could go to the trick shop, get the fake thumb. Somebody asked, was it black? It did fit his skin, and nobody is looking at the thumb when he's doing all of this stuff in that. And then we didn't have a camera, and his wife, Lonnie, says, I'll get a Polaroid. My wife and I treasured that moment a lifetime. And you'll see the Polaroid picture. And then he gave me the very book that I gotten out of the library, and I can show this to you guys here. There are 2 autographs. In a shaken heart, because his hand trembled, he wrote, remember, God is the goal, to Ralph and Gisela. But she wrote on the other page, thank you for your kind words, Lonnie. And I'm glad that I could give her some credit because she saved his life. You'll see her always next to his side now. And is that incredible that she met him at 6 for ice cream? At 11, in the autobiography, she says, I knew I was going to marry him.